Hey there, Blue Mages. Liam here. This is going to be a really quick video here. I've gotten some DMs and some comments saying that people are struggling with Dirty Rotten Azulmagia, saying they don't have the spells that I use in the video, or they're having difficulty acquiring the spells in Party Finder, various things like that. So I just want to show that we can get away with using the absolute bare minimum needed to actually clear the stage. So for this, I'm going to be using Water Cannon as my magic spell, and in this first stage, when he has ice spikes, we have to use magic, otherwise the damage reflects. In the second act, I'll be using Sharpened Knife as my physical spell, since he reflects magic in the second act. And then in the third act, I'll just be alternating between them, alternating between them based on whatever reflect he has up at the time. I do also have Bristle and Song of Torment. Now, technically those are not even required either, but it does make it go faster if we can just put those up. So I took those anyway. Plus, they're fairly easy to get, regardless. You'll notice I'm not even using a Mimic here. We're just going absolute bare minimum here. I did grab Bloom, because we need that in the third act for when we get webbed during the Charybdis phase. And it can be helpful if you're having trouble dodging some of the AoEs here. But I don't think you'll be able to get perfect blue if you're doing it this way. I just don't think you'll be able to kill him fast enough. We'll see what my clear time is at the end. So I don't think you'll be able to get the Too Fast, Too Furious component here. So he's going to cast Plane Cracker and Apocalyptic Roar. We just run behind him to dodge that. No problem. If you do have trouble dodging these things, you can also just grab like White Wind. If you do an Apocalyptic Roar, it puts a Doom on you, so you'll need Exuviation for that. But again, this is just the absolute bare minimum. So there's our first act. Now for the second act, he's immune to magic, or rather he reflects magic damage, but we can actually put up a Song of Torment before he becomes magic, or before he puts up his magic reflect. Here, we'll just be using Sharpened Knife. Not any physical spell will work here. He'll put up these Blazing Angans, and here, I'll show you if I cast Water Cannon on them. It only does 1 damage, but if we use our Sharpened Knife, this pops them. Oh, that's not what I meant to pull up. There's a Ram's Voice. Now, as far as physical goes, you can use basically any of these. So just use whatever you have. As long as you have one, you're fine. Abyssal Transfixion might even be better than Sharpened Knife, at least for the third act, where you have to be at range at times. We're just taking Sharpened Knife for the easier weaving and dodging. Get out for Ram's Voice as normal. We'll follow up with the Dragon's Voice, so we just stay close. He will cast more Blazing Angans, but even with this sort of bare minimum setup, we were able to kill him before that went out. As far as gear goes, I am using the DPS set that I laid out in my Best in Slot video. You can check that out if you want to see what I'm using, but it's basically just a mix of Augmented Shire and Alexandrian and Wallachie stuff. Nothing too intense there. So he starts out here with his Repelling Spray, so he reflects magic. We'll just get close and start using our Sharpened Knife. Dodge the Ram's Voice. Get back in for the Dragon's Voice. Dodge the Apocalyptic Roar. Here's where Charybdis comes out. Once we see where the tornadoes are going to be, we want to go stand between 2 of them. Reason for that is he's going to put a web on us, followed up by a meteor. We want to bait that to the edge. So we see the meteor cast. I don't know if I went far enough out here, so I'm just going to go out again. And we don't want to run right into him because there will be some fire left behind. We don't want to get burns, that'll hurt. He switches to Ice Spikes here, so now he's vulnerable to magic. So we will use Song of Torment. I am actually going to do a Loom here to dodge some of these things. Turns out I got hit anyway, but, you know, it's whatever. I also did take some Reflect damage early on because I forgot to turn off my auto attack when he switched to Ice Spikes. Using a Sharpened Knife turns on your auto attack, and that's what that initial damage was that I took. We'll put up Charybdis again. He just kind of cycles through his moveset here. But even with this small amount of DPS we're doing, we can finish him off before the second Meteor. There we go. Dirty Rotten Azulmagia. Let's see what our clear time is. Oh, we did actually get Too Fast, Too Furious. So, if you were going to do this, and you don't have a lot of the primal spells, but you have enough spells to meet the requirements, the requirements are you need one of each element. So one of fire, earth, ice, lightning, wind, and water. And you need, on top of that, one of slashing, piercing, and blunt. And then for pure blue, you also need to not take, or sorry, for perfect blue, you also need to not take any damage whatsoever. Now, in the first two acts, I didn't take any damage. In the third act, I took a Apocalyptic Bolt and some Reflect damage. So if I just had cleaned that up, I would have gotten perfect blue. But this was my first go at this. So if you really don't have these spells, it's fine. It's still totally doable, just with, you know, basically the bare minimum here. So yeah, best of luck. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to ask. Happy to help. If you liked this video, feel free to check out these other ones. While you're at it, sting that subscribe button, share your bad breath in the comments, and stay tuned for more Blue Mage content.